Do not weaponize your skepticism. So, skepticism is a really great tool that can be used to to seek the truth, because of the way that we are imprinted with information when we're a child. First of all, the people who imprint us are giving us information for our safety, not necessarily information that's true. Secondly, the people who are imprinting us when we're a child, they don't necessarily know the truth either. Or they also might not have the ability to convey it well, especially to a child. So, and then thirdly, there's the aspect of misinterpretation, especially from a child. That's going to be quite um, abundant. So then when we're growing up, we have all of this misinformation, we have all these beliefs, and we see the world through this belief system, and it appears exactly the way that we believe it is. So from that naive perspective, no skepticism seems needed. Also, skepticism can seem scary because everything seems to function so well with your perception that why tinker? Why mess around in there with skepticism? But because we're programmed with misinformation, like I just described, um, skepticism is one of, if not the best tool to use to dismantle and to question some of those false beliefs and assumptions. The issue with skepticism, though, is that it can be used as a weapon. It's kind of like a sword that can cut through false beliefs and assumptions, but this sword cuts both ways, or at least it can if mishandled. And the thing is that skepticism can be used to, in an indiscriminate fashion, cut through anything, leaving no stone unturned. Now that's the proper use of skepticism, because we can't take certain beliefs or ideas for granted. If we're really seeking truth, we need to have an open mind to the possibility that even the most fundamental and obvious seeming things may be incorrect. So we can't discriminate when we're using our skepticism. However, skepticism can be used um, as a tool to not seek truth, but to, or maybe better to say, not to seek absolute truth, but to defend relative truth. So a lot of people, they have their truths. There's people who are truth seekers, and there's people who already believe to have the truth. If you already believe that you have the truth, then what's the point of seeking it? Well, of course, there's a great point to it, but it's not going to seem obvious to that person. So people who are indoctrinated with some sort of relative truth, or maybe not indoctrinated, but they come upon this relative truth themselves. This truth is only relative to you. It may not be true to others. This is not absolute truth. Absolute truth is always true, not only true relatively speaking. And when people substitute the absolute truth with the relative truth, because it isn't always true, if you want it to take the place of absolute truth, then you need to defend it. so that it appears to be true all the time. The absolute truth does not need to be defended because it's not fragile. It can't break. It's always true, no matter what anyone says or does. It needs no defense. But the relative truth, a lot of people, I would, uh, I would think, a lot of people are living on living with a relative truth, and when people do this, they don't admit it to themselves, and they act like it's true. And you can say that they're doing this unconsciously, and I think that that's an accurate statement. But I also feel like when people do this, you may notice a little bit of a dirty feeling inside that you're not actually 100% sure of what you're saying is true, but yet you defend it anyway. Whether you notice that or not, I think it's an interesting thing to point out. But when people use skepticism as a weapon, what they're going to do is they're going to pick and choose certain things to be skeptical about. And they're not going to be skeptical about other things that defend their position. And in this way, they're using skepticism as a weapon. They can create a sort of bias, like a confirmation bias, where they're only being skeptical towards certain things, and what remains after that skepticism wipes those things out is their truth. So they're basically picking and choosing where to use their skepticism as opposed to using it non-discriminately. And this is what I would call using skepticism as a weapon. And what this can do is the opposite of what I was saying earlier in this video. Earlier, I was saying that skepticism just may be one of, if not the best tool for seeking truth. Well, if you're using it as a weapon, it can actually go in the opposite direction, and it can get you more and more enshrouded in your relative truth, giving you the illusion of finding the absolute truth. So the best thing I can say in this is in this situation is just to have awareness, which I'm trying to bring about in this video, of the dangers of skepticism when not wielded properly, but also to simultaneously bring awareness in your own day-to-day life that you can use to say, hey, am I being discriminate with my skepticism? Am I using it as a weapon? And if you really value truth and you notice that you're using it as a weapon, then, this can be really valuable information for you to kind of be a little honest with yourself and to kind of take that skepticism and to kind of use it all across the board more, or as much as you possibly can. And that's where real growth can come from. So yeah, if you like this video, then please hit the like button. If you want to see more content like this, then please hit the subscribe button. If you know anybody who might like this, then please share it. And if you have anything you want to say, then comment down below. And if you want to see notifications when I drop new content, hit that little bell button. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.